Welcome back to Salem. Today we're talking about this. This is the Swan 48. Of course, Swan, well known for their fast boats, their performance boats, racing, and all the rest of it, but super luxury in cruising. Now, the thing with this one is it's got all sorts of modern technology on it. This has kind of amped things up a little bit further than what we'd normally expect to see on a cruising boat. The question is, have they gone a bit mad? We're going to take a look inside, we're going to have a look on the deck, go down below, see what they've done to keep this boat super light and fast, and see if it's the right thing to do maybe, in our opinion, or the wrong thing to do. So I'm going to take a look on board here and also have a look at what it means to us, because we're actually building a boat as well. So first thing to look at for any boat builder on a boat is of course the rig and the chain plates. I mean, it's enough to be said, they're solid as can be. It's a Swan, right? It's overbuilt, it's strong. On rod rigging, that is of course a really, really good thing. It's reducing weight aloft and increasing the strength at the same time, which is good. I don't see a problem with that for anyone, and it's a sensible move, often reserved for races. The reason it's on this cruiser though is because we've got carbon rig. Carbon rigs like to have a stiff set of rigging holding them up, and that's kind of what you need to get the most out of the mast. So you can't really have one without the other. You could go carbon if you wanted. Maybe that's a step too far. But there is a question on this rig. Okay, and the question is what's going on? Because we've got furling sails. Now, mainsails that furl are something which has kind of upset 1,000,001 cruisers over the years. We've had boats that have got them. We've had boats on a traditional slab reef. I'm a fan of the slab reef. But this kind of changes things. Now, this company's been around for a long time. The boom manufacturer. It's furler boom. So what we've got is basically a mandrel, and sometimes these are carbon on these, so I don't know which one this is, and it runs up a track here, like a luff track, which means you can have a fully battened main with a huge roach on it, and little to no in most cruising applications performance losses, which is absolutely brilliant. If you want to see someone who's a well-hardened sailor using one of these, go and check out a video by Tom Cunliffe, who's done 1,000,001 miles and goes into why he chose a furling boom, and I think they're a pretty good choice. It also means there's no sail bag or anything like that, and the whole thing's covered up with a piece of sailcloth on the top afterwards, so you don't need to take your sail out. It's really quite neat and nice. Of course, the rest of the set we're going on has got a hydraulic boom van. Now on a boat of this size, that's sensible, and hydraulics have become very good these years. They've become very reliable, and I think years ago that might have been a questionable thing, but now I think that's good. So for me, that's okay. We've moved to dyneema. So the main sheet on this boat's held on with dyneema. And also here, so it's a German main sheeting system. It's running down through these tulip blocks and aft. The tulip blocks allow a bit more articulation. Don't really know why we need too much of them. I suppose they are moving a little bit as these move, but the main advantage here is no chafe on the mast and no chafe on the boom at the other end. So moving to dyneema for cruisers is something, I don't know why that's a problem. I know if you do or you dislike it for some reason, I'd actually really like to know why, because I can't personally understand why anyone would be moving towards shackles instead of this. But do send us a little note in the comments and let us know what you think. Gooseneck, by the way, bonded on, looks like a Selden mast to me, and it looks absolutely bomber, I've got to say. That is pretty impressive. So what else is going on that's kept this thing super modern? Harken tracks, not a great deal to say there. We know that they're reliable, they've been around for years, they do the job well. Deck hardware, all good, strong stuff. Wishart pad eyes and the likes. These look like they are indeed Lumar flush hatches. Not really much to say there. We know they're going to continue to work forever. That's easy. Moving forward, what do we got? Okay, so this is interesting for you. We've got a below deck furler, and they've kept this manual. I like that. I like manual on the furler, because if you want to run it back to a winch, run it back to a winch and you've got an electric furler. Near enough. But you don't have the problems of that getting wet, and then the electrics getting damaged, or hydraulics getting corrosion from being in the bow under the water all the time. I like that. I do like that. It's a Selden one. Really, really good. Again, the tack lashing here is held on with dyneema to get around this sort of wider area, which is nice. I like that. Ultra anchor, that's pretty cool. Ultra are kind of making a name for themselves probably because they look really good. They are very expensive. We're actually going to put one of them on our boat, and it's because we tested one. It was bomber. It was like the best anchor I've ever used. And the thing is, we've used a few now, quite a few. And the Ultra is definitely the best one. And one of the things for us is looking after the ocean, looking after the seabed. Our pitch to build our boat with sustainability isn't just about an electric motor. It's about looking after the ocean and the world as much as we can. Having an Ultra sets well, and it sets kind of first time every time. Well, not kind of, it sets first time every time. So less damage to the seabed. Down here we've got a enormous bow thruster, which is kind of cool that it's inside a watertight hatch as well, underneath there, into, I guess, where the hell the, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so we've got a separate chain locker here in a bin, which is pretty cool actually. Can I get in here? Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we've got a Maxwell windlass because they're all stainless. That's going to go forever. We've got everything we need to run the windlass on there. Interesting sort of turnbuckle lock on the chain there to stop the anchor going out on its own accord. Access to the ropes for snubbers and the likes in here. And literally it's just a bin, a plastic bin in there, so that's pretty cool. And there's a deck wash. Quite nice to have all that. The sail locker is what that's left for the rest of it, and it is enormous. So any cruiser that's seriously going to cruise anywhere knows that you need light wind sails, and you're going to need light wind sails to go upwind, so that might be a code 0, I'd say an asymmetric. I think the boat that we're looking at, we need to sort something like this out definitely, because we're going to have more than one spinnaker so that we can sail in super light conditions up to heavier conditions and generate power. So we need to create speed to create power, you see. So let's take a little wander back. Teak decks on the Swan, which is par for the course for one of these things, I would say. Now the cool thing about the Swan deck is that they're actually farming it themselves, or they've got some company farming it with them. So they're regrowing their teak if they use it. I think that's pretty cool because there's keeping a tradition by doing what it is and looking after the world, and there's following an old tradition by putting plastic decks on and things like that. And I quite like the fact they've just done it properly there. Cool fair leads, stainless, running all the way back through. Nice sort of butterfly hatch idea. The cool thing about the Swans, and I think like going back to that heritage here, is that the deck isn't very high. So the coach roof isn't high off the deck, which is like perfect. If you're actually going to race your boat, you want something which you can step on and off and get to the mast easily. That's really, really cool. That's like a step in the direction of their racing heritage, and they're all faster boats they made back in the day. Same with these, your B&G, all that you need on the mast. You can see it from anywhere. It's pretty cool. Another thing they've got is a Dodger is folding flat. So this actually folds away completely into this sort of access area underneath, and it's covered up by another teak hatch. So it's just giving you that super flush area. So yeah, you can get a wave in the face, but you can also get up on deck quickly and run around and see your sail settings from every angle. But let's go and see what's happening in the cockpit. I think I'll go this way because I can. Okay, so we've got a different setup going on here. We've got a backstay obviously running to a strip bridle here, so we're back to a cable. I guess that could be dyneema, but maybe in that hunt of a little bit of security, they've gone with the steel. Makes good sense. And we're running to twin hydraulic backstays here from Selden, which again, hydraulics being reliable, that makes sense. Looks like we've got two Jeffer wheels on fiberglass, which is quite nice. So simple, straightforward stuff. Hydraulic controls down here into some massive screens from B&G. It's pretty cool. We've got autopilot, compass on each pedestal, which I think is really cool. Quite handy to see where you're going on all tacks, I would imagine. And your controls for your bow thrusters. Stern thruster as well, it looks like, which is pretty cool. So we've got electric Harken winches, and you know, you got to look smart when you're in harbour as well. I mean, maybe when you're sailing, but nice little rope bins here to pop everything in. I think that's pretty cool. Nothing massively innovative, but I think all the things that we're looking for here are things which are tried, tested, and work. What is important, I think, for people that are sailing the Med these days is this boat's designed to sail well into light winds. and be able to cope with Mediterranean style conditions where you don't have wind all the time, right? And obviously this boat has to be able to handle heavy weather and light weather. So they say this thing can sail in 5 knots. And of course, to be a proper med boat, you've got to have a massive garage and a swimming platform which can take half the anchorage, which I dare say you could do with this one. Again, this one, unlike many boats running on dyneema, this is running on hydraulic rods, it looks like. Or they could be electric actuators, but I can see some hydraulic hosing there, so it's obviously hydraulic. So let's take a little mooch forward. The main sheet's quite interesting. German sheeting running through sort of obviously custom fabricated steel fair leads. Down to a single Harkin Blackmagic 75, so more than strong enough. B&G autopilot down here as well, so that can be viewed out from both sides of the cockpit when sitting in the seats, so we don't have to be at the helm. It's very well thought about. That's where you can smuggle small children if you're into that kind of thing. Before we go down below, we can just see the traditional sort of piano arrangement here. Again, nothing completely innovative, but I think the main thing in this boat is the rig and that mainsail. Just been completely not what you'd expect to see from a traditional cruiser. And I think for us building a boat, that's really important, because things we're seeing here is some things need to remain traditional that just work, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you need to sail in lighter airs, we need to reduce weight. Weight aloft, definitely. Performance is important out of your main, so that fully battened main is quite important for performance. Whether or not we'll go with a furling boom or not, I don't know, because I'm not just so sure about throwing a jibe around with such a heavy boom on the boat. However, we are building the boat for the Arctic. That's not the same as a round the world boat, for example. Going up into really, really cold areas with ice freezing things, that's a different story. And if we weren't going there, I think we'd definitely be going boom furling. Anyway, let's nip downstairs. Now this is cool. It even comes with a slippery floors or slippery socks warning. Whoa, they've polished this, they're not joking, look at this. So this is, of course, like, it's oak. European white, probably, or something like that. It's beautiful. It looks really, really nice. We can actually still feel a little bit of the grain on it as well. And where all the panels are, we've got these recesses. As a boat builder, I see the little things. So as varnish may want to flex and crack, we're not going to see that. That's really, really cool. Now, this may just look like a classic kind of interior to many people, but the fact is it's not. This boat's weighing in at 15 ton at 48 feet. So they're getting the weight down. There's a proof that the bust is made of carbon. It's white on the top for UV. That the paint will last with UV a lot more than this resin will. Sorry, this varnish, if you like, or lacquer. So that's why that's done. But the finish is fantastic on everything. It's really nice, beautiful, mated, nice finishes everywhere we go. So we'll start in the saloon as the first place. You know, she's nearly 4.5 meters wide, around 4.5 meters wide, this boat. There's a lot of space. And it feels really spacey. These windows are super nice to be able to see out of everywhere. It gives us that feeling of space, the light coming in, natural light, the butterfly sort of hatches at the top. It feels great. And this sort of felt almost, it's nice. It's just got a feeling of warmth about it, yet airy. I like it. And the oak at the top, it's really, really, really pretty. Interesting that the chart table appears to be something we can work from either side. And obviously all of your necessities are here from Blue Sea Systems, who are well proven for sure. We've also got, in this seat, I quite like this. I can see myself hanging out here for a long time. See where you're going near enough, out the sides once in a while, and you've got some information right behind you too. Of course, directly opposite, a huge U-shaped area, which is quite cool. It's got deck chairs, which appear to have locating pins in the floor, so you can lock them down if you want to. The deck chairs thing is actually something I think we should think about taking with us, because on smaller boats, you don't have that kind of thing. And you don't want to necessarily always have space for people, whereas these can be taken down and when you're at sea and stowed away easily. But we need space on a cruising boat, right? So let's go and see if we can find some. Well, I found some stuff, a huge inverter, so clearly that's where all the electronics are leading to in there. I'm not going to muck around with all this stuff because it's probably owned by somebody, but I believe down this side we've got storage, and we've got storage either side of us in these as well. So how do these work? Yeah, it's really nice. I found an EPIRB. It's a nice place to keep your EPIRB. All with really, really solid feeling catches, and this is pretty chunky. But the beauty of this stuff is, all these sea glaze blinds, the beauty of all this stuff is that it's all made with nomex, which is like a honeycomb material, a composite material, and then it's laminated either side, and then a veneer goes on the top. So all this, this might even just be sort of just painted. But the beauty of this is the weight, the amount of weight that you're losing. So these doors, they're super light, you know? Well, they look like the Swan that you might have seen God knows how many years ago. Master cabin. Do not sit on this bed. I guess I have to lie on it, hey? And of course we've got, on a boat like this sort of luxury, what we'd expect to see is a head with a separate toilet glass screens in here as well, which is nice. Obviously it's a pretty big shower, must be quite honest. Nice, really nice setup. Good hanging lockers all over. There's a double hanging locker here. And we've got some shelves here. It's really cool because you can't make a great deal of use of small areas unless you make shelves. Pretty sweet. And again, it's really thin. The shelves are really thin because that's all you're going to carry in this lightweight stuff. See what I can find in here. There we go. I can carry a dancing suit in there and a safe.
Dancing suit?
Might need a dancing suit. You never know. And a fire extinguisher. And behind there, this is quite cool. I don't know if you can make this out, but behind here we've got all sorts of lights and blinks and flashy lights, which looks to be an NMEA system in there. And a light. So really, really nice. And I think also what's really cool is that, for me anyway, this is the finishing which makes all the difference, you know, really simple, nice, pretty finishing. It's oak. And you know what I was saying before about hiding the cracking in the varnish, this is perfect. And a perfect example here where there's no rebate, you can see that, where it's cracked. So you're going to get that in every boat. The reality is in, I would say 98 to 99% of all the reveals and returns, it's all hidden perfectly. So nice. So the hardware and everything's just brilliant. I mean, I know these are Burka switches, they're robust, they've worked for years. And these latches here, they kind of work like a butterfly, so they trap themselves against the door jamb to prevent any vibration, which is, you know, no one wants something knocking around as you're going to sleep. It's worse than a knocking halyard sometimes. Other things to note, these are called sauce hinges. We put them in our camper van that we built. They're like a flush door hinge. These are much more robust because the doors are thicker, but it's just nice to see something like that. A little bit of a slide. So it's cool for us. I mean, have they lost their mind using nomex and all that kind of stuff? That's the thing. The thing is with nomex, it's really, really light, but it's really, really strong, and it takes impact because of its honeycomb nature. So the thing is, I don't see a problem with this. It might feel a bit lighter, but not much. I mean, this feels pretty sturdy. So I just personally think, why wouldn't you be doing this stuff to make your boat lighter? And in general, it's then going to perform better. So this is beautifully put together again. So can we get in here? I don't want... There we go. Look, I found it. When you look for things, you find things. A lot of storage in here. A lot of...
Washing machine.
Where? In here?
The shower.
Washing machine in the shower? There is as well. It's a full-size housing washing machine. I like that. So as we're looking for things for our boat and our van, that needs its picture taken. So again, amazing hardware. It's just all so well built, put together. Beautiful stainless stuff. Polished off welds and the likes. That makes a difference, you know. It does make a difference. Not only to how it looks here, but just cleaning it, you know. You're not getting anything stuck in the welds or anything like that. So this boat's got 2 aft cabins, obviously one mirror image of the other one, a nice fire port there to get to the engine, and a huge locker in there. Absolutely brilliant. Ventilation at the top. Now, we've had this conversation with a few people on the van and the likes. It might not be the common thing in housing, but ventilating everything to create movement around the vessel is really important for condensation, mold and the likes. Galley wise, 4-10 hobs, 3 burner, champagne. Come back later, we might have some of that. Pretty cool. Corian worktops, or acrylic, one or the other. Same thing there. Just really, really nice. Really well put together, as you'd expect from these guys. Quite interesting, the sink on this side. I quite like that, actually. I mean, we're always looking for ideas for our own boat build. Quite like this. Thin Corian worktop on here. Quite nice. Just keeping the weight down again. Going to a, looks to be a 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty cool. Don't open the fridge. I imagine it's the same for the freezer. Huge ventilation at the bottom, and that must be drafted out to the top. These look like the Vitrifrigo fridges, which are exceptionally efficient, so that's a good move to them. So pat on the back to them, lads. Well done. And the same again on this side. So all in all, a lot to be said from this. Reducing the weight, but still keeping it looking cool. Obviously steam bent laminations as well, you know. Well, these aren't steam bent, are they? No, these are laminate bends then. So these are laminated, probably steam bent laminations, just like what we've done on the van. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, we kind of take you through how we built these in our own camper van. So all in all, like, this boat has been put together as a performance cruiser to last forever, yet still be light enough to sail in light airs and still take on the heavy airs as well as you'd expect a Swan to do. And from what I can see, I think they've done a really, really good job. A few things for us to take from this on our own build. I think, you know, looking at using dyneemas in the rig and looking at lightening things up here, there and everywhere, looking at how we lead things back to the cockpit and the likes is also quite important. But there's just so much to take on board from an interior perspective, making this feel big and airy, and still feeling strong and spacious. Like, strong, really, that's the main thing for me. It feels robust. Anyway, that's our basic rundown, or my basic rundown on a Swan 48 at the moment. Do I think they've lost their mind? No. I think they've nailed it bang on, 100%. You know, I kind of hope they even go a little further into the modern technologies in their next builds, because I think they can. The technologies are there, and they've got the craftsmen to do that, which is cool, and the designers, which is all a big part of that. So well done to the Swan team. I think it's brilliant, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Do join us for our own videos about the boat that we're building. We're taking that up to the Arctic, hopefully. That's the plan, under electric, so that's a bit of a challenge. We're also looking at, well, various other things basically on equipment, technology, how that's progressing in the industry for you guys as cruisers or racers. Basically anything sailing we're trying to cover for you guys. So do like, do subscribe, let us know what you think and send us a message in the comments. We'll keep in touch and we'll see you next time.